At one of London's busiest train stations, it was anything but this morning. A largely empty concourse at Waterloo. Indeed, at stations right across the capital, as the vast majority of commuters clearly got the message that 80% of rail services are suspended.
It took me half an hour longer than normal.
Right.
Had to go via Norwood and then back into London Bridge.
I get it, especially after COVID. Like there needs to be some job increases. There needs to be maybe a bit of a pay rise, but if everyone's working from home, there's no real impact. Like I said, my train wasn't busy. We just got stuck outside.
At Birmingham New Street, passenger numbers there were a fraction of what would normally be seen on a weekday rush hour. This train to Northampton was busy, one of a vastly reduced timetable of services to some key locations. In Scotland and Wales, the disruption is even more severe. This was Linlithgow station this morning. ScotRail say there are currently no services outside the central belt, and only a handful of trains on the normally packed commuter services.
It actually works out a bit better, the times they've put on today, but it's very frustrating, the train strikes.
I was going to go and work in the office. I still could, but I'll be honest, I'm just going to go and work from home instead of working in the office.
At Cabinet, the Prime Minister warned the public they must be prepared for more disruption.
We need to get ready to stay the course, because these reforms, these improvements in the way we run our railways are in the interest of the travelling public.
There were no signs of any Labour politicians at this picket line amid reports the Labour leadership has banned them from turning up. Union bosses warned of further action unless management meet their demands.
This is a lawful dispute under the legislation that the Tories brought in themselves. And every time we meet the hurdles and break the thresholds that they brought in, they want to change the law again. We've got the most draconian laws in Western Europe and in any democracy, in fact, anti-trade union laws. Whatever they bring in, we'll meet that challenge and we'll continue to campaign. And if necessary, we'll take effective industrial action when we need to. The Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury has urged the government to play a more active role in trying to bring about an end to the dispute.
Remember, this may not just be about railways. There's a possibility of disputes in other sectors too. And if ministers simply stand back and say this is the wedge issue of the week, this is the issue upon which we can divide the country this week instead of something else, that is a lack of responsibility. It's a dereliction of duty, and we need better than that from the government.
Although many of those who can will have opted to work from home today, many others took to the roads for their daily commute. The M1 in County Durham, one of the many routes busier than normal. With a tube strike in the capital adding to the misery, London buses are much busier than normal. The frustration obvious among those who can't get on board. Many other commuters, like me, opted for a taxi to work, although cab fares have been increased. With good weather forecast across the week, many others have taken the bike to work. The government says it's actively planning to change employment laws to allow for the likes of agency workers to step in any future disputes. But that won't help with this current set of strikes, which are expected to cause travel chaos across the entire week. Mark White, GB News.